Hello, and welcome to an overview of Microsoft Outlook 2013. This overview is designed to help you with the migration process from GroupWise to Outlook. In this overview, we'll be looking at the mail features in Outlook. The first time you log into Outlook on your computer, you will come up with a screen that looks much like mine. Like many of the Microsoft Office products, you will notice that Outlook has a ribbon at the top. On the left-hand side is the folder pane. It defaults as on and may appear open like mine or possibly minimized like I have it now. To maximize the folder pane, just click the little arrow at the top. To the right is my mailbox. Down at the bottom is the navigation pane. The navigation pane is where you switch from mail to your calendar to your people and tasks. If you just want to peek at some information, let your mouse hang over areas of the navigation pane that you're not currently in. For example, if I hang over the calendar area, I get a snapshot of my calendar, or the tasks area, I can see any tasks that I have for the next couple days. Back in the main mailbox, I have a few options up at the top that I can start with, such as new mail, new items where I can make an email message, an appointment, a meeting, contact, or task. I can delete items, I can reply, forward, move to a different folder, set rules, tag items as read, unread, categories, and follow-ups. Also, on the Home tab is the address book. At this point in time, I'm going to take a minute to change my default address book. This is something that you should do immediately when you open Outlook before sending any messages, as it can help fix a known migration issue. Select the address book. At the top, click on Tools, then Options. At the bottom of the options, you need to make sure that you select from the drop-down menu Global Address List. Once you've selected it, click OK, and then close the address book. This will make the default address book the global address list. In my inbox, I currently have a new message and a new meeting invite from trainer number 6. Let's check the message. I double-click the message to open it. Here, I have my options such as my replies, my forwards, and I can also tag and move the message. Above the body of the message, I have information such as who the message was from, the subject, and who it was to. We'll get to these maps, meetings, and action items in a second. Then there's the body of the message. Below the body, currently I have a minimized view of the people pane. If I expand this view, it will bring up information broken down into categories. For example, currently, I have selected Trainer 6, and now I can see everything that has gone between me and Trainer 6 recently, such as meetings, messages. I can click on what's new, I can select only mail, I can look for information that's only attachments, or just meeting invites. Lastly, in this new message, I wanted to point out these blue link looking items between the body and the to line. These are built-in applications that search your message for information that Microsoft deems that it can help you with. For example, I have an address in my message that I've received. So if I click on Bing Maps, a little window will open above the message, and it will actually show me the location on a map. If I need directions, I can click the Get Directions link in the bottom left, and a browser window will open separately and take me to Bing Maps so I can look up directions. Because there's a date in my message, Outlook is also suggesting maybe I want to schedule an event on that day. And then lastly, action items. Outlook has highlighted what it believes is an action item in my message. I can then choose to follow up on this item. If I select follow up, which I will do now, this will be added to the to-do list on my tasks page. This time I'm going to go ahead and close the message, go back to my inbox. We'll look at the meeting invite in the calendar video, so be sure to check that out. Now we're going to send a new message. You can do this by clicking New Email, and you will get a window much like mine. The default will have a to line, a CC line, and a subject line, and then the body. Don't worry, we can also pick a from line and a BCC line to have them show up. To make those selections, click on the Options tab of the ribbon, and in the Show Fields area, select BCC and From. Once you select these to be turned on and send the message, going forward they will default as on, but you can turn them off at any time. The From field is especially useful if you will be emailing from more than one account, such as a resource or shared mailbox. In the To line, there are a couple different ways to get people's names to appear. I'm going to go back to the Messages tab and start to type a name. I hit T and notice that trainers 1 through 6 have shown up. Names only show up in this list if you've emailed them at least once. If you see an invalid email address in this list, you can simply remove it by clicking the X next to it. If it is somebody you have never messaged before, there are 2 other ways besides the automatic fill-in that you can find people's names. First, you can click the To icon and search for a user's name. The default is name only, and that is a first name first search. If you would like to search by last names, you can select more columns than search by the last name. I am going to email Trainer 6, so I'm going to select Trainer 6 and add them to my To line. I also have the option to select users for a CC or BCC line. Once you've added everybody to your email, click OK. The other way to resolve a name in an email is to use check names. First, I'm going to add a semicolon to separate the email addresses, and I'm going to start typing. I put in a T, and I want to add Trainer 2, but they are not on my list. So I can continue typing more information to help Outlook find who I'm looking for. I've typed in Trainer 2, and if I click Check Names, it gives me Trainer 2. If I had stopped before I entered the 2 and clicked Check Names, it would actually have given me all 6 trainers to choose from. Next, I can enter a subject, and then the body of the message. After you've finished your message, either send the message or do things like add receipts or signatures. In the Options tab, there is an area called Tracking. You can request a delivery receipt or request a read receipt. A delivery receipt comes automatically once the message has reached the end user's inbox. A read receipt will bring up a message window on the user's screen asking them if they would like to send a receipt saying that they have read the message. For our message, I'm going to send both of those. I can also add a signature. You can do this by selecting the Message tab on the ribbon and then going to Signature. Here, I can see that I already have 2 set up, an example signature and a test signature. I can also create a new signature from scratch. Signatures do not migrate from GroupWise. I strongly suggest that before migrating, that you send yourself an email with your signature, that way you can just copy and paste it. Once in the signature page, click New and type a name. Once you have your name in, click OK. You can then fill in your signature in the Edit Signature box. Once you are done, you can click Save. Note, on the right-hand side, when I click Save, it did default New Messages to Signature Example. You can change these defaults as you please to different signatures and set them separately for new messages and replies and forwards. If you do not want a signature to automatically appear in your message, select None. Once you've finished, click OK. It is important to note that going forward, there is no option to prompt you for a signature. You must either set it as a default for new messages, a default for replies and forwards, or select it each time you would like to add it. Once you've finished, click Send. We can see here that I now have 2 new messages. They both have a subject from Microsoft And if I make this wider, Outlook with the subject Delivered Project Meeting. If I open this message, I can see that Microsoft has delivered the message to Trainer 6. Now that I have a few messages in my inbox, I can take a look at categorizing them. On the Home tab or in the Categories section of my mailbox, I can set a category for the message. For example, I may want to mark this meeting from Trainer 6 with a special category. I'm going to highlight the message, go up to my ribbon, and select a category. If you have never used a category before, you will be prompted to change the name on its first use. If you choose not to at this time, don't worry, you can do it again later. If I click Yes now, I will have a category along with the name that lets me know that all yellow markings are for meeting requests from Trainer 6. You can have multiple categories per message. Just to the right of the categories, we can see a flag for follow-up. That is the same thing as the flags up here in the follow-up icon on the ribbon. Select follow-up and you can mark it for today, tomorrow, this week, next week, no date, or custom. This will add both a flag on your inbox to the message and it'll put it in your to-do list. If you click custom, you can choose a start date and a due date and choose to put a reminder on the message as well. I have just done a custom for today. You can also right-click on that area and choose to mark it complete or clear the flag. Next, we're going to take a look at adding an attachment to an email. So I'm going to open a new email and look for the attachments in the Include area. You can use Attach File, which opens up a window where you can browse, or you can drag a file from your desktop into the message, drop it, and it will appear in the attached area. If you no longer want that attachment added, simply right-click and choose Remove. The last thing I'm going to show you is how to do out-of-office messages. Select File from the ribbon, and then Automatic Replies. Here you can choose to send automatic replies. You can also select Send only during this time range, and you can select a date, start date and time, and an end date and time. You can have a separate message for internal users as well as external users. For external users, you can also set it to people only in your contacts or anyone outside your organization. Or you can just select the checkbox to turn it off. Once I click OK, my out-of-office message has been turned on. I can turn it off here, or I can turn it off from within Outlook itself on my mailbox page. Simply just click Turn Off. This concludes the mail overview for Outlook 2013. Be sure to use all the resources available to you to make the migration from GroupWise to Outlook smooth. Thank you for watching.